there. I'm super excited for my first Kid Foodie webisode. My name is Cassia Bonesteel. I'm 10 years old, and my Kid Foodie mission is to get kids beyond the kids menu. A foodie is someone who really appreciates food and different cultures of food. I think I'm a foodie because I really enjoy eating foods and I really enjoy talking to people about food. I yab about food, so this is why I started this, so that I can just talk about food, pretty much. And rate it, and teach kids about it. Yeah, I also have kind of a dream to become a world traveler, to go to lots of different countries and to enjoy the food there and to enjoy my trip, because you can't really go to Mexico and not like Mexican food. It just doesn't work. But also go to different places like Greece and not like the food there, then you would not enjoy your time. You wouldn't be wanting to eat chicken nuggets in Greece. Awkward silence. Anyway, so that's why I try to learn to eat as many foods as I can, even if I might not like it the first time I see it or try it. And I've learned to like a lot of foods by just keep trying. Our first Kid Foodie episode is going to be about one of my favorite foods in all of history. Okay, that was kind of awkward, but still, all of history is ramen. I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about ramen and some of its history. Ramen was thought to be invented in 2 different countries, either China or Japan. Nobody's really sure. It is super delicious soup. It's kind of like chicken's noodle soup, if you've ever had that. And we are going to be going to a ramen restaurant called Santouka in a Japanese supermarket. Yes! Dance party! Here we are at Santouka Ramen Restaurant. Something that's interesting and different about this place is that it is in a Japanese supermarket, and I'll show you some of that later. Also, but something that is not unusual about this ramen restaurant is that there's always a huge line. We were lucky today because we got in later than usual lunches, and so it's not as long. Our number is 73, and we are waiting for our food. So I ordered the shoyu, or the soy sauce flavored ramen broth. And I am using my chopsticks, but you can usually ask for fork if you don't know how to use chopsticks. I also have this handy dandy spoon that's really good for getting lots and lots of tasty soup. Also, there's lots of different ingredients in here that makes the soup really tasty. There's menma, which is fermented bamboo, which I don't usually eat, but people say it's good, so you should try it. Also, I usually don't have scallions either, but try everything. There is a really tasty wheat noodle, and this little fish looks kind of weird, but pretty much doesn't taste like anything, but it is pretty good. And then there's the pork that makes this soup really good and tasty. I suggest eating your pork really fast, like this, which is really good. Also, there's nori, which is seaweed. Seaweed is not gross, it's just green, and it's actually really good. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was so happy just eating. Also, there are three main parts of the ramen: the noodle, the meat, and just the soup, which I actually can show you. They're probably one of the most important and delicious parts of the ramen. And the soup is kind of like chicken noodle soup, but like 20 times better. And it also is just really like meaty and thick, and it's just so good. The pork or the meat, it can be chicken, it can be pork, it can be beef, it can be lots of different types, but usually pork. The pork is like a pork chop you would eat, except thinner. And it's really good, and it's actually cooked in the broth. So they have the really hot broth, and then the raw meat goes in there, and then it cooks. And the noodles, lastly, is like wheat noodles that you would have in, let's say, an Italian pasta. Like if you were eating spaghetti and meatballs, this is something like you would have in that. But I also want to introduce to you something more challenging, like this. It's called sake ikura, and it is made up of salmon, rice, and salmon eggs. I know you might think that salmon eggs are gross, but have you ever tried them? The salmon in the sake ikura is very mild, so it barely tastes like anything, but it still tastes like salmon. Something a little bit different is the salmon eggs, called salmon roe, and they are really tasty, but they're not mild. They're very strong, and they taste kind of like the ocean, but they're very salty too. And then there's these little radish sprouts that taste kind of like lettuce, and they're very small. You can barely taste them. They're really good. I have an aspiration to be a world traveler, so I know that I have to try different foods, because in different places they've got lots of different foods, not just chicken nuggets. So even though I did take out the bamboo and onion, I still am going to try them over and over again until I like them. One of the good things about going to a ramen restaurant in a Japanese supermarket is that you can convince your parents to buy you Japanese candy. My favorite is Pocky. It is pretty much like a cookie stick dipped in chocolate. So who doesn't like cookies dipped in chocolate? Another unique thing about Japanese supermarkets is the supply of fish. There are lots of different types of fish, most of them used for sushi. This is salmon. This is tuna. And we even have some octopus. Fish like this that is uncooked is not disgusting. It tastes really good, and it kind of melts in your mouth. In our next episode, we are going to be going to a sushi restaurant. So yeah. It is so alive. Awkward dancing, yeah. Even though I know my goal is to get kids off the kids menu, my rating system is based on French fries because almost every kid loves them. And if you don't love them, then that's okay. A restaurant can get any number out of 5 French fries. So I would give Santouka Ramen Restaurant 4 French fries, because it was really good, but it also was lacking some things that I've had before, such as a soft-boiled egg, which is like a hard-boiled egg if you've ever had one for breakfast, except when you cut it open, the yolk drips out, and it's super tasty, and it tastes like egg, and it's so yeah. The actual soup or broth was a lot greasier, so I'd go with 4 French fries. Tips for kids who want to try new foods. My first tip is pretty important. It's not to inspect your food. Let's say you have trying a new dish, like these, Pockies. And you look at it and you're like, what is this? that doesn't make sense because you just looked at it and like, oh, there's something I don't like in it. And then you don't even try it and maybe you would like it. Second tip is to make sure you're always nice to the people who are serving you food. May it be your parents, a waiter, a waitress. Always be polite to them. And if you don't like something, then say no thank you. Don't say, no, I don't want that, it's gross. My mom is laughing at that. Number 3 is to always try one bite of everything on your plate. Don't be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to take a piece of lettuce and go, okay, I'm done, because I don't like anything else. No, you have to try everything. Lettuce, carrot, apple, potato, green bean. Don't make fun of any food because it might hurt someone's feelings and also insult their culture. I feel like it can really connect to kids who don't like maybe vegetables or foods like salads or things that maybe they're not very interested in because it seems disgusting to them. Because sometimes I don't like foods either, but I've learned that if you keep trying, even just a little bit each time, you'll learn to like things. But let's be the kind of foodie that doesn't look down on people for what they eat, except if it's dirt. Then we can look down on them because, you know, it's dirt and it's down, and that was a bad joke. Thank you for joining me for my first Kid Foodie episode. I had a lot of fun.